What's up, everybody? What's up, Maxie? What's up, May? My camera a little bit. What's up? How you like that? Falling like a stone today. That's always funny. No. I think we're going up and fall like a stone. It looked good early. And then I guess whatever made them drop SPY like 5% because of Trump saying a tariff thing. How's it doing, by the way? How's SPY doing? Is it dying? Oh no! Oh yeah. Things look great until actually literally right until we were recovering right until that. That's very funny. And then we're just doing exactly what SPY does. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. That's funny though. Yo, we live. What's up? What's up, Daniel? What's up, Tom? Top Goose, the best goose on the shelf. Yeah, it's I don't know, right? Like SPY doesn't matter until it matters. That's ultimately what it comes down to. SPY doesn't matter until it matters, and when it matters, it matters. Unless it doesn't, that's when it doesn't. Except when it does, then it does. What is this? What am I drinking? Citrus and cherry blossom Maison Perrier. This is what I buy with my GME money. My local Ukrainian grocery store. Somebody always knows something, Rocket League, dude. Somebody always knows something. Yes, yeah. When everything died in April, GME went up, but that was like it was on cycle. There was no stopping that freight train. It was on cycle, and that was one of the times where SPY didn't matter. Right? Okay. See, SPY doesn't matter until it matters, unless of course it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter. But if it does matter, then it does. Be bold. Be bold with calls, man. Like every time you think like, oh no, I know it's scary, right? I don't like parting. I don't like parting ways with my GME shares. It's scary not to have them. But I mean, I re-entered a sizable portion of my position a little bit early. I basically set limits like all in this area. I was like, it's going to go down. It's going to go to at least 2371. If I just left those, the entire position would have been entered at 2371. But not what happened. I am, yeah, the Maison Perrier. I am not back in Ukraine. I'm in Cyprus, but I have a Ukrainian guy who owns a grocery store down the street, and I got this to drink. Yeah, we can, dude. We can make we can make we can make shirts with we could do a business. That could be the business is just that shirt. What's up, Johnny? Z-Bone. What's good, man? New job is cool. Yeah. Because of bureaucracy, nobody wants to pay me yet. But but otherwise, work is great. Good thing. Good thing I made sure not to rely on solely income from employment in an academic context in order to meet my bills, or otherwise, this would be a problem. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My paycheck's been FTD'd until the beginning of December, so it's fine though. It actually is fine though. It actually doesn't. It's fine, right? Like my job is not. The job is some nice icing, right? What I really appreciate is being able to like have a community to talk kind of my humanities things with at a more advanced research level, and it's kind of fun. I get in there, do my stuff in the morning, have a little like lunch crew, and then have like little symposium time, talk about what people are working on. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Uh, no, probably no back pay because it's like because I don't know. Academic work is so weird because like it's not really if you're getting a research fellowship, it's like it's not like you are treated as an employee, but like it's so weird because you don't have like I don't know, you have deliverables, but you don't have measurables, so it's not like, oh, you put in all these hours, like you need to be paid for your work, but it's like, but do I? Like I was writing about books. Do I need to be paid for that? Really? Like, no, you know, no. I mean, it's nice to have the funds dispersed because, it's nice to pay the rent and things, but like, that's not really work. Like, nobody's gonna make money off of my work, right? It's not you know, it's like, it doesn't belong in the marketplace. It doesn't belong in the marketplace. It's not a marketplace position. I guess, I don't know. It's sort of, it's so many degrees removed from that, but like you still need to have money in order to do it, right? That's why like all of the old scientists, like back in the day, like they didn't have jobs. They were like legacy wealth people. Like Isaac Newton is just like came from money. Even or like the old school like social activist guys, like the guys in like Britain that like Wilberforce, who destroyed the slave trade and made slavery illegal and things like that. Like he was just independently wealthy, and he was like, I have so much money. What do I do? I know. I'll destroy the slave trade. Like, all right, dude. Fair enough. So no back pay. I mean, I will still get the money that I won in this grant competition, but just like later. They won't disperse me extra money. They won't disperse me extra money from my fellowship. But the alternative is don't work on my stuff. And it's like, no, that's dumb. Like I want to work on my stuff. Whatever. I don't know. But it's fine. Do I think this upcycle is over? I don't. This is, I mean, what we're seeing here is a little bit excessive. I mean, I could just be totally wrong on everything you know, projected for coming up. I mean, we're pretty low, dog. 2340 is lower than I thought. You know this. I said this. Like, this is a good, this is a solid bar lower than I thought we were gonna go. This is a solid half bar lower than all of the gap fill people thought we were gonna go. Um, I mean, we're trading pretty close to fair value right now. I'm very surprised they walked. I mean, ultimately, I'm not surprised, but I am more or less surprised that they pushed us down this far. I really thought some recovery. Oh, yeah, we're gonna with Max Payne at 25.50. Are we gonna close the week at 23.50? It really looks that way, huh? 23.50 was not on my bingo card. 20. I wouldn't have been surprised with 24. It'd have been like low, but the shoe fits, 23.50 was a surprise there. But they're gonna do that periodically, I guess. So we'll see. I think we've got. I mean, maybe the second half of our upcycle is just like 26. I don't know. What's up, Bobble Wobble? Welcome. PMO. I know it looks, but it goes down sometimes anyway. Let me look at the PMO. Where's RK here? Where's his charts? Yeah. I mean, it pretty decently uncrossed here. It's uncrossed on Trader View, right? Trading views. 4 hour probably looks bad. Yeah, 4 hour fell off a cliff. Oh, this is SPY. Well, that also fell off a cliff. Where's our blue line here? Yeah, I mean, these have been uncrossed for a while. 4 hour daily PMO, which is what RK has. Yeah, it doesn't look super bueno. I mean, we have uncrossed like a little bit. This is a little wide, right? We kind of started to back here during the March June cycle. And then we flirted with this a lot more back in the last fall cycle. But yeah, PMO not looking awesome there. Are they going to send us back to 22.4? At this point, it really looks like they're going to send us back there. But I don't know. Trying to get us back into this like wedge thing. So we go back to whatever into the 22s and then cowabunga from there. I don't know. That would be lame, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like that's the thing. It's like part of the idea, doesn't it's not work the same way. Like scientific work and exploration and stuff like that. It's not, you know, it's not the same. Humanities research is also not the same. It's like it is work. It's difficult to do, but like the value that's added is it's really difficult to express the value that's added by what is done in fiscal terms. And a lot of the folks that do it don't like a lot of it's not useful, immediately useful. So it's like it's sort of like gambling, right? Funding research is kind of like gambling because like you're going to find something out, right? It's, vet the researchers so they find something out, but it's like you might not get a return on that investment for a really long time. The guy who was it the guy who discovered electromagnetism was asked like, "Oh, and what do you see are the practical applications of this?" And he was like, "Oh, none. I don't know." And I think like electromagnetism was discovered in like the 1830s, 1820s, like super early before anyone was able to do anything practical with it. It was like 100 years before anybody did anything practical with electromagnetism. So nobody that was alive when that guy was alive, including that guy, ever actually saw any like economic returns on that discovery. So yeah, that's kind of it's not really a trade, it's like you're being paid to make you're a gamble. Like, will you discover something? Can you be productive? Will you discover something that down the road maybe it will culminate into something useful? Maybe. And it turns out like the reason you want to do it, even though like 95% of everything that you research, when you research stuff is not good, or like useful or immediately useful. It's like, you know, something in there that might be found may be the exact thing that you need at some point in the future to save civilization. But you don't know that when you're doing it. So that's kind of what the expense is for. But, a lot of academics, they just want to be careerists and blah. But whatever. Yeah, PMO is not awesome. I don't know. I think we got to, we can be open minded here as far as like trying to anticipate what things are going to look like going forward. I mean, what happens now? Do we go back? Like, if we don't continue with this upcycle, like if we don't bounce back here, as I thought we were going to kind of start to do today, if we don't bounce back here and we just kind of fell through this level, where do we go? Well, the only place left to go is this again for a couple months. Could they do that to us again? Sure, they could. Will they? That's flat for a long time. IV is super low. Maybe they just make us wait until earnings, which is the 9th, not the 3rd. We just go sideways here and go between 23.50 and 25. I don't know. Our cash floor is not that much higher, I guess. An ideal world, a curriculum based on the Renaissance and GameStop would be ideal. I'll work on it, man. I'll work on it. I'll see what I can do. See what I can do. Yeah, that's pretty much what university is for most people now, I think. Oh, saw, dude. Oh yeah, I haven't double checked what this looks like right now. That thing has got to be so high. Let's see. Let's close this guy up. It's so high. It's so high. It's now red, and we've been flashing for. This is apparently, yeah, this is the biggest we've had since. Yeah, this is now higher than February. This is now National Cat Day levels of bottom finder signaling. It's not April levels. It's not April 2024 levels. But yeah, it is October 2024 levels now. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just run out of room here, man. Maybe it's time. Like, does this line matter? Can I fix this a little bit? We don't have. Does this go all the way up here? Can we make this thing work? Can we make the monster wedge work? We got this mini wedge there. But if we do the monster wedge, we go until, when do we run out of room? Like next summer, I guess. And then 2026, we start going up. Mm. I don't know. It's just a line at the end of the day, right? But yeah, bottom finder looks good there. Bottom finder looks good. NTD, talk to me. What swaps are you seeing, man? I'm curious. Taco Trump? Trump tacos. I haven't factored that into my thesis. Man, I don't know who would be executing warrants now. Who would be exercising? They shouldn't. That would be for an instant loss. But can do a calculation at some point for what new cash flow should be. New cash flow should like theoretically be 22, like 2220 something. So we could go back to the cash floor. I just didn't expect we would go back that soon to the cash floor. We're not quite there yet. New low. We're really pushing, huh? Welcome to GameStop, guys. Interesting. Let's find Larry's tweet. So much comes back to Pavlov's dog. Okay. Classical conditioning? Who's being conditioned? For what? How about this one? I often ask founders in the first meeting, if we go through a complete diligence process, what metrics or issues will I struggle the most with? This is counterintuitive, but it's a good fundraising strategy to answer this question, whether asked or not, in the first meeting. It will help filter away investors who can't stomach whatever the particular risks there are in your company. Save yourself the time of having to engage with many investors on diligence only for them to pass after finding those issues you could have elevated in the first meeting. The other benefit of raising those issues is you can provide context, frame the solution, show ownership of them, rather than having the investor discover them on their own without that context. Makes the risk seem more palatable and well managed. Thanks, Larry. I mean, sound. Maybe. I mean, if we're basing it off what Roaring Kitty was saying in 2024, then yes. Yeah. I mean, we got kind of a half cycle so far. We got it. It's just, muted. Yeah, man, I really thought we probably had one off that bottom from last year, but then I don't know, the fact that they definitely pushed they pulled the trigger on a bunch of stuff to go down. And Alex Trigger, they pulled the trigger on a bunch of stuff. Whatever is happening today is whatever thing they pulled over in SPY and the broader market, which I don't know what that is. Maybe silver messed them up. Silver's been going nuts, so maybe something there blew up a basket. I don't know. Yeah, during the year they can be executed, exercised. The warrants, that is. I don't know that many will have already been exercised, though. Hey, cheers, man. Good price there. Yeah, it's definitely different, man. Yeah, they would typically go after we got the rolls. Well, I mean, today that's the thing. This whole period right now feels like something related to last year. This feels like something that wasn't on, the original Star Swap board. This feels like something newer. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, I don't really know if gap fills matter because, we went straight through it, if we dug deeper, then a lot of people like to go in the comments, gap fill, gap fill, gap fill. It's like, but then it didn't reverse. It just kept falling through the gap and then farther into the place where there was no more, so this move down, I think, was related to, regardless, if now we go back up, people will go, it was the gap, but like, I don't know. It was something very clearly tied to whatever happened with the broader market today. Whether or not that had something to do with Trump and tariffs, they used that as a reason to write off however they were moving the market as a whole. Yeah, ETF's been a mess. GMEU, GMEY, iGME. Listen, the fact that we are now listing off GME ETFs like this shows that issues are accruing. The cost to borrow is extremely high across all of these, and at the same time, there are no shares to borrow. GMEU had no shares to borrow. GMEY had no shares to borrow. iGME was no shares. GMEU last night went up to 400,000 and then went to 4,000 and then went to zero before open. I'll bring it up right now to show you guys. This. It went to 450,000 available units throughout the day. And then this morning, it dropped from 450 right down to 350 at 6:30, and by 7:15 it was at zero. 6,100. Look, this. Where'd they all go? Nobody knows. Before open, a bunch of them showed up again. But 18% borrow, and borrow fee is climbing. But look at how high borrow fee is right now. It went back to zero. Look at this. So okay, I can try a better job doing that. Yeah, some shorter stuff I just answer right away, but if I read out the questions, then indeed it will allow the listeners of the stream to know what the question is while doing other stuff on the side. Good tip. Thank you, Anton. Hmm. 1014. Very interesting. Maybe we're accommodating that. So MTD saying here that we have 4 entries of Russell NA swaps, swap baskets, total return expiring on October 14th. So maybe GME is tied up with some of that. Guido's asking whether exercising warrants early at 32, that would allow shorts to get shares but not move the price. Would that be cost effective? I suppose maybe if you're super leveraged and you've got some massive swap that's coming up or is on the books or something like that. This lets you get shares, but that's a big premium. That's a big premium. When you could pick them up right now for $23.50 and you're paying $32 a share, you got to be in trouble on that swap if you're willing to do that. Crime, indeed. Well, interesting. I didn't see that. Let's see what Reese went ahead and put out there. Block. Don't see the post from him on Block. He's been posting a lot about GMEU recently, which is good. Apparently, he messaged Matthew Tuttle. Do you mean Billy Lee Tuttle? Characters from True Detective. Y'all missed that stream. Roaring Kitty looks like he knew well in advance that Tuttle Capital would go ahead and found an ETF for GameStop based on the fact that he references those characters in True Detective with that name. So I don't know. I think too. There's also like a meme. Isn't there an ETF called like Meme or something that's coming back? Something like that. Yeah. So things are a mess. Things are a little different, perhaps, than usual. But that's also how GME goes, right? No two cycles are ever the same. Good time to buy. That's, I guess, all. That's my standpoint there. Okay, on October 8th. I think it's fair to say probably T plus 33 from here, or I guess the full formula is T plus 6, C plus 35, T plus 1 if it's regular delivery, T plus 4 if it's creation order for an ETF. Okay. Yeah. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what next week brings. Still thinking, sub 25 for October 17 is probably the way it's going to go. That seems even more likely now that we're trading in the 23s. 3 million fills mid October. Kicked from the last bond offering. We'll probably kick them again, though. Yeah, we'll have to see. We will take a look. Oh man, we're going even farther. 23.37 right now. And what is SPY doing, man? Still, SPY is also still digging. SPY is at 653. Man, they are torpedoing this thing. Whoa. Y'all seeing this? Look at that. Look at this. Look at this candle. This is hilarious. Taking it right down to the 50-day moving average right there. You going to try to hit 650? Oh, they're trying. Got down to 52, 652.84. Always intriguing how they really push for these moving averages sometimes. Where do we start the day today? 673.95. 652.84 may be as low as they get this thing. Into the absolute dirt there. Trying to get back below 653 here. Don't think they'll get it. Oh, they did. Oh, they gonna get that close of 653. Almost. Oh, this is fun. This is exciting. They're trying. There we go. So what was our close then? SPY closed. Didn't quite make it to the 50-day moving average there. 653.02. Where'd we end up GME wise? 23.30. Well, definitely lower than I thought. I'll tell you that. It's all about China. Somebody made a lot of money on those guys. Yeah, that's always wild to see that happen. Like, SPY will just disappear on you. You'll just get eviscerated. SPY is the worst, dude. Yeah, let's see it, man. I think so too. I thought we were going to start getting, like I said, I thought yesterday's price action was definitely swap related. I thought we were getting something like that, already starting today. But hey, we're gonna dig. We dug deeper, man. We dug deeper. So okay. Probably safe. Probably safer with the Jan OpEx calls. Probably safer. I mean, there's less. You're dealing with less of a time premium, so your leverage is cheaper on the November ones. But if you miss, you miss. What happens if GameStop buys Nintendo? Nintendo would never sell. No. To GameStop. Oh yeah, let's get some of those rare earth metals. Nothing really nothing really lets the pressure off like some Canadian rare earth metals. Let's get some lithium and tungsten in here. Just spice the whole place up. GameStop. Yeah. GameStop Japan. Let's launch in Japan. It's going to be great. They have no children, but it's going to be great, right? Actually, I think that's probably a big reason why they closed up shop in Europe, because there are no kids in Europe. Like, Europeans are not having children. If you sell toys and games, and the countries that you market those in don't have children, not a good business plan. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I was talking about. In part, that's kind of what I was getting at with today's verse. Reading the story of Noah, that's basically, I mean, in part, that's what the story of Noah is talking about, right? The story of Noah, is okay. On the one hand, it's talking about issues with, if the way that you order your species is, this kind of this agglomeration of sexual partners type of way of living. And there are major creeds in the world that, okay, they're not infinite, but basically still do that. But this was right. We take this for granted, right? We take this for granted that societies, the majority of people in Western society basically accept monogamy as a social standard. Basically, yes. I mean, there are levels of toleration. There have always been levels where certain people who can afford to deal with the short-term economic malices of doing that deal with it, and they do stuff like that. But really, yeah, the issue is society falls apart when that's what you go for. But the lesson of this story as well, right, that we talked about is, one dude who decides to just focus on his family and just get that right ends up being a world-redeeming act to raise a family. Nothing complicated, right? Dudes have a wife, guys, ladies have a husband, raise 3 kids, make sure they get married. That's a world-redeeming, right? That's what the story is saying. That is a world-redeeming act. That's a world-redeeming way to spend your life. It's something like, in order to be open to God, in order to have that type of revelation, that's what you need to have in place. Is essentially, and that's a claim I'm also making as an interpretative claim based on what I also know about the other stories of the very same book, which we'll get to, because we get the anti cases. essentially the Bible, what's really interesting about the biblical corpus is it keeps making the same points over and over again, but in different ways and more elaborately, or with different types and variations on the examples. So, like, very early in the book of Genesis, we get really, really low resolution, but like tight, concise stories about how this works. And I know, right? When you just read the book of Genesis, and you know, if you listen to me talk about this, you're like, wow, you're reading a lot into this. It's like, well, wait, right? You know, like, yeah, there's not, you know, they're short. They're very short stories. They don't have a lot of information. So the details that are provided are very intentional. They're not accidental. So when it comes out and says, like, when it comes out and it puts these things together, when it goes like, and then the sons of man saw that the daughters of so the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were beautiful and took as many of them as they pleased to wife. And they came into the daughters of man and bare children and bare them children, and there was nothing but violence upon the earth. Like, it means that, right? That's not like, very few words are minced there. We have an after hours dip now. No, Spy is doing weird things. GME doing things? What? Oh, what? What is going on? What is going on with GME? This is this has got to be this has got to be swap activity. This has got to be swap activity. There is no other way to explain this. To just red line down for how many days in a row is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven red days in a row. We are now below the closing price the day before earnings significantly. I was not expecting that, friends. That's GameStop for you guys. Dude, gap filled, bro. Gap filled. We're here because we had a gap to fill. We had to wrap to fill in and a gap to fill. Yeah, man. Buy the dip. If it dips again, buy again. If it dips again, just keep buying. Just keep buying the dip, dude. I mean, maybe it's here. This is low. 23 is low. 23 is very low. Making me look silly here. Market makers. Ryan Cohan. Yeah, we got to go fill that gap. Yep, probably doing that. Yeah, I don't see how we go much below our. I mean, we got like 80 more cents to go, and then we're just like, then we are cash value. Then we're trading at the value of our cash. That's it, man. GME is finished. They're just done. This was it. This is the end, guys. Time to go home. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. We got a gobble line. Let's see here. Did it go? Did this thing go deeper? How does he figure out what the gobble lines are? I mean, yeah, it's highest since. Maybe it's up a couple weeks here, right? Here's this. 24th is when we got that big bottom last year. I don't know. Maybe we just do it again. Maybe we still stay down here for like 2 weeks. I don't know. Hey, if they want to re-enable my clicking glitch, then that's fine. I'll buy more shares. Yeah, Lady Gobble is bullish, dude. Dude, nice. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I get the basic concepts of the indicator, but as far as a gobble line, I don't know what a gobble line is. I mean, yeah, hard to really, honestly, hard to see us going much lower than this. We can, right? There's something that says we can't go to 22, 40 or 2250 or whatever. We can do that. I didn't think we'd go this low, but we can. If this is really some big swap that's got to get rolled, like we already know, we can already see from the ETF picture, they're already, they've already sold the farm to get this thing down. So, I mean, we'll see, right? The best thing to do with this is just meet it with the spirit of adventure. Make sure you're taking advantage trades. That's the thing, right? Why doesn't this panic me? Because I only take time advantage trades. I take time advantage trades. I know the fundamentals of the company. I'm not risking the farm. I don't have the family farm mortgaged. Simple Rick. Yep. He's ready to YOLO at 16. Dog, I did sell puts. I'm ready to get assigned. I'm fine. Get a whole mess of warrants too. That's fine. I'm not yet selling CCs. Although I wish I did. I was asleep at the wheel on that today. Do I think 2 months up cycle, 3 months down cycle is over as far as the up cycle part, or do you think the dynamics change now with the warrants? Don't know, dude. I still think we're in this cyclical environment, but if they've got, part of the thing is too, like, does the layering of swaps now versus like the stuff that Kitty did last year, does that just start to mess with them? Because like they have, right, the stuff that Richard was able to track was all based off of the fact that they were getting things under control over this 4-year period, and they're okay, swap and roll the swap and push us down, and roll the swap and push us down, and then let the pressure off. then push this down and roll the swap. And every time they did it, lower, 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 lower. All right, Roaring Kitty comes back. Now we have a rising floor. Now when they roll the swaps, when they come back to them, each time they come back to them, they're not getting them lower. So then what do they have to do? Then they got to do new swaps because they got to, they got to keep pushing stuff. They got to get stuff off their books. So does that mess up actually the cyclical thing? And that's the thing is, I wonder if what Ryan Cohen is trying to do here with the bonds, with the warrants, is he's intentionally trying to gum up the works. He is trying to gum up the derivatives markets with this stuff. It's really important to keep that in mind. He's trying to make it, okay, this can be a little inconvenient for us since, now we're getting the patterns and trying to, figuring out how to do this, et cetera, et cetera. But what he's trying to do is he's trying to gum up the works so that they just throw in the towel on this stuff. It gets too difficult. There's too much nonsense, and it just gets let go. Or they fork over a bunch of cash to the company to get out of their positions. Symbol rate will YOLO the form at 16. So it remains to be seen. We will see next week how this gumming up continues to play out. Like I said, I don't have too high, crazy expectations for October OPEX. This is a bit of this is uncertainty, not going nuts as far as trades right now. I do have a bunch of short puts open that I'm more than happy to get assigned on, more than happy to take delivery of shares and warrants and things. And then we see what's going on, right? I do think we got a chance to move back up to the upside going into what's it called? FOMC end of the month, looking at a rate cut. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Thanks very much for stopping by the stream. Looking forward to seeing you guys this week. Continuing on our reading in the story of Noah, and tracking our number one favorite stonk. Yeah, man, it's okay to get assigned. It's okay. It's going to be good. We'll see you guys. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend.